Welcome to my next project, which is the USS Reliant from Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, from Polar Lights, or Round 2, depending on who you talk to. Um, this is a brand new kit. I was pretty excited to get this. My girlfriend got it for me for Christmas, which isn't that nice? Um, she's very good to me. I was going to do this kit as the USS Britannia from Night Terrors, an episode of The Next Generation, one of my favourites. Good spooky episode. But despite this kit being like quite cool, actually, I've had a good look at it. I'll show you it in a minute. I was pretty disappointed by the decals, and I don't mean that they were printed badly, like a lot of people have suggested or showed, really. I've followed this kit from its inception to right through to its production, obviously, since I have it. But as you can see, the decals include markings for the Reliant only, and unless I had a complete brain fart and didn't realise this, I was pretty sure that they were going to include markings for the entire Miranda class fleet, which include the Saratoga, the Britannia, two Saratogas actually, among some others. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed. The printing of the decals though seems okay. I don't have any yucky stuff, which makes me think that this sheet was a corrected sheet. Nice window markings there, one of the saving graces of the new kits. But when I opened it, I wanted this to be my next project. I just decided I would just go ahead and do the Reliant. I never usually do my models as the Enterprise or the Reliant or anything like that. I usually do something a little more pretentious. But when I opened it, I kind of got a little bit excited and decided I'd do it as a slightly battle damage Reliant. I've already done a little bit of work on the model. This is it here. It's 1000 scale, kind of small, but pretty cool. As usual, the grid lines are really quite trench-like. They're a little bit out of scale, but that's okay. I've put a bit of putty on here. Actually, one of the nice surprises about this model was the lack of seams. I mean, you can see a lot of putty on here at the moment, but when you glue most of these parts together, the seams practically disappear. The roll bar pylon seams barely there. There's some nasty cross seams there. And around the saucer rim, everything forward kind of, it might just need a nice sanding and then it will be eliminated. Quite cool. Quite excited. I'm just going to do a little bit of battle damage, I think. I'm not going to destroy the torpedo launcher or the nacelle or anything like that. I'm just going to do a little bit of some classy weathering. Seeing as I always end up doing weathering anyway on my models. Next up, I guess, will be, should be base color. I mean, I don't need to drag this out too much. It's not a very involved model. It's pretty basic, really. I'll likely be using the very same color as I did for my Enterprise B, which was to me a flat white mixed with a couple of drops of deck tan, just to get it away from that refrigerator look. I actually built the 1537 scale version of the Reliant kit as the USS Tree, and I used flat white on that, and although it looked good, it still looks like a good model, I think. It kind of, the white is a little bit intense in places, which is why I needed to weather it quite a bit, because it looked kind of like a refrigerator, like a kind of a glaring white. So ever since then I've dulled my white down with either a little bit of grey or black, or in this case deck tan seems to sort of warm the white up a bit and make it a little bit more in scale and believable. Right, the model's been completely filled and gapped, primed, and I wet sanded it afterwards, so it's nice and smooth. I'm doing pre-shading now, and I was just going to show you the top, but there's some interesting stuff on the bottom here. I thought I may as well go ahead and show. What I'm doing is I'm using the dark iron XF84, and I'm just doing some pre-shading, some like just streaking detail on the bottom. I've done some already, which looks quite cool, I think. And what I'm doing is I'm going overboard on the paintwork, because when I put the white over top of it, it'll tone it right down and it'll give it a real nice in scale look. And I thought I'd actually show you what I'm doing. I can't find my tripod at the moment, so I'm going to try and do this with one hand. For those of you learning how to use a double action airbrush, you can do some really cool streaking like this. I did the same thing on my D7. Now the cool thing about pre-shading is you can basically make as many mistakes as you like. You don't have to be really pitch perfect with it. I'm using an Iwata Neo, which is, for all intents and purposes, actually it's an entry level airbrush. But I practiced for years on no-name specials, and this airbrush is the best one I've ever owned, and I think I'll be using it for quite a while. But anyway, let's get to it, and I'll try and do this with one hand. I might be able to just at least show you the gist of what I mean. I'm just going to concentrate on here, this part, and do the same thing as I've done here, and done a little bit of streaking, and do the same thing. You kind of want to flick it back. It's a little bit harder to do with one hand, but you get the idea. And as you flick back, you want to push down on the trigger, and as you flick back like that, without spilling any paint out of the cup, I might add, flick back and pull the trigger back slightly and then lift up. Now I can decide to leave out or leave in as much weathering as, anything I want, basically. If you concentrate on a few parts here and there, you can pretty much take it out or leave out whatever you want, and you can be as messy as you like with it. It is weathering. All you're doing is creating shadow. I mean, that's all you're doing. It's quite a bit of fun too. So, I mean, see, that's kind of what it looks like. So I'll turn off the CD compressor. That's kind of what it looks like so far. Like this, it looks really overboard, but when you put a nice transparent coat of white or near white paint over it, it just makes it pop. Right, I've done a little bit more on the Reliant and the roll bar as well. I finished up the bottom. Now this looks real crazy, but as I say, after you put the base coat on, it tones it right down and it scales it up really nicely. I just used a bit of card for this. It's like the easiest kind of weathering you can do. I wanted to show you, but I just don't have 3 arms. I did a little bit up the top as well. Looks quite cool. Leaving a couple of pit marks here and there on the sensor bands. There we go. Even on the nacelles. On the bottom too, actually, I did that. Now what I'm going to show you now is, I probably should have taped it up before I started filming, but whatever. I'm just going to show you exactly what I did on the bottom, but I realised if I used tape I could free up one hand. See? Really simple. And you just rinse and repeat across the whole hull. And then it's done. I mean, you might have even noticed some of you more weathered modelers out there, maybe that even my mix isn't that great, my paint to thinner ratio, but that doesn't matter. It's appreciating. You can be messy with it and it doesn't really even matter. So it's going to look quite cool, I think. There we are, the whole thing's pre-shaded, and next up will be the base colour, which is my usual flat white with a bit of deck tan to take down the brightness, and yeah, moving along quite fast. Cool.